The Southern African Power Pool, as we all know, was created in August 1995 at a SADC meeting held in Kempton Park, South Africa, when member governments of SADC, excluding Mauritius, signed an intergovernmental memorandum of understanding for the formation of an electricity power pool in the region under the name Southern African Power Pool. SAPP is actually made up of 90 members. I should say we approved one of them today. There were 18 before, and these members are part of the 12 member countries represented by the respective electricity power utilities organized through SADC. This SAPP officiated meeting comes at a time when the SAPP interconnected power system is experiencing a mixed grill in terms of good and poor performance. In the past, we used to register total or partial blackout of more than one utility at one go. We also take note of the positive activity in the SAPP competitive market, whereby utilities are able to optimize their supply portfolios. We are certain that out of the installed generation capacity, only about 2/3 of the capacity is active. This has resulted in most SAPP members experiencing supply capacity shortfalls. This begs the question that why should we build new generation capacity when we are failing to access and utilize what has already been built? It also remains a challenge that we still have 3 SAPP utility members that are not interconnected to the other 9 members. These are Malawi, Angola, and Tanzania, yes.
The Southern African Power Pool, SAPP, was conceived through the vision of the leadership of the Southern African Development Community, SADC, to create regional integration in all economic sectors in order to foster economic development of the region. The foresight of the regional leadership led to the recognition that cooperation and integration was pivotal to the development of the Southern African region, as the saying goes that, opening course, the whole is greater than the parts that form it, closing course. A year later, to strengthen cooperation in the regional energy sector, the SADC Protocol on Energy was adopted on 24 August 1996 in Maseru, Lesotho, by the SADC ministers responsible for energy. Among other things, this protocol empowers the region to, number 1, promote electricity trading and power pooling in line with the SAPP Intergovernmental Memorandum of Understanding. Number 2, promote integrated resource planning in the electricity subsector to take advantage of economies of scale and optimization of investments in the power sector and sharing of the resultant benefits. Number 3, to coordinate the development and regular updating of a regional electricity master plan. Of late, the electricity supply industry in the SADC region has been characterized by 1, insufficient generation capacity to meet the growing power demand, where the current generation capacity shortfall has been as high as 5,000 megawatts in some periods. Number 2, lack of adequate transmission and distribution infrastructure to deliver electricity to end users, resulting in power outages and slow rate of connection of new customers. Number 3, high transmission and power distribution losses, which increase cost of supply to consumers and lower than anticipated levels of regional trade of power due to transmission constraints, and particularly along the central transmission corridor, coupled with shortage of generation capacity. It has been identified through SAPP pool planning of 2017 that the region can save up to 37 billion United States dollars in net present value terms if planned activities were executed. I'm glad to report that the construction of the Mozambique-Malawi interconnector is in progress and should be completed in 2024. The interconnection of these three countries will result in the region benefiting fully from the optimal use of resources, resulting in significant cost savings. Zimbabwe sits at the center of the Southern African power pool, as it is interconnected to all its neighbors and thus facilitating the wheeling of power and supporting the activities of the SAPP competitive power market. In Zimbabwe, we have several generation projects that are under construction, as well as some still at planning stage. The commissioning of a 300 megawatts unit number 7 at Wange Power Station is underway and is expected to be available between November and December this year. The last 300 megawatts unit will be commissioned during the first quarter of 2023. This new project will significantly improve the power supply situation in the country. The electricity demand in Zimbabwe is driven by a resurgence of mining and industrial activities, resulting in increased demand for electricity, thereby presenting an opportunity for new investments in electricity generation space.
No, this is for the honorable minister.
Here we go!
So, honorable minister, this is the entrance to the building. This is our reception, and always want to remember that the office itself, when it started, it was actually opened by the chairperson of the SADC Energy Ministers Committee, who was the minister from Angola.